I had a game just riddled with misplays in solo queue. And I wanted to bring you on. This is RealPlayer1. We were both on Overcap, which placed top 16 multiple times. So we both know the fundamentals of the game. We know what we're talking about. I just want to watch this game back. And we can just talk about every misplay that somebody does and see if we can learn something from this game.
At face value here, I mean, the team comp's not horrible. I mean, you don't typically run double speedster, but you've got two pretty solid frontliney. Well, you've got a tank. Clefable's not really a tank; it's more of a healer. But at face value, it doesn't seem horrendous, right? You've got a decent shot.
Yeah. So I called top side with Snorlax, Absol called bottom side, Gengar called center, and Clefable did not pick a lane.
Yeah. I will say, from an outsider's perspective, not knowing your background, people may say this man picked lane Greninja. That's an immediate red flag. But
Definitely
I know
true.
that you've been honing your lane Greninja craft for a long time. So
Yes, I think, for a lot of people this would be a throw to play lane Greninja, but I don't think it is. So I don't think it is. We'll see if the gameplay holds true for that or not.
yeah, they do have the Mew Mime though. So if that's in your lane, it's likely not going to be a fun time.
Right. Okay, so right off the bat,
XP share lax.
Clefable goes top side, so I switch the lanes. First small misplay, but whatever. Ideally you wouldn't have both tanks in one lane and then both squishier people in another.
I think Clefable with Absol makes more sense here because the lax can help you secure, especially with XP share, and the Clefable's there to heal him if he takes damage.
All right, we got the first piece of farm. Something I don't like that the Absol's doing here is he's only going for whatever it is that I go for.
Maybe he thinks he's helping you secure?
I don't know, but it's not helpful because now we're in Mew Mine. That's the lane. And for some reason, I'm getting every last hit. But under normal circumstances, we shouldn't be able to secure against this lane. So it would be nice if we split up and contest.
No, I don't know. I think I saw that he did not have a focus band there, or did you actually KO the mime through his focus band?
He did not have focus band, I'm pretty sure.
Interesting development.
Yes.
I mean, it's not everyone runs it, but it ironically ended up being almost the right call for the two of you to contest him there because he happened to not have it, right?
Yes. Okay, I want to pay attention to this. So in this moment, you'll notice that we got ganked, and where is our jungler?
Yeah, I don't want to interrupt the flow of everything, but do you want to roll it back like 10 seconds?
Yeah, let's do that.
Watch that development.
So first of all,
he comes in from jungle.
He comes in from jungle at 850. So his jungle clear is atrocious.
Yeah, I don't know how.
And here we are fighting. He comes in through launch pad, goes behind us to score.
Yeah. So your Absol there's not level 5.
Yes.
You have a very strong lane opponent, well, duo, and you didn't have vision on the jungler, right? So for the Absol to just jump in and use his moves like that is wildly risky.
Yeah, agreed. That was tough, and he got punished for it.
Yeah.
And there's nothing I can do here.
Is your Haunter trying to 1v1 the Mew?
Yes.
Oof.
Hunter is just back there trying to 1v1 the Mew. Reinforcements are on their way, but I can't do anything until I hit level 5.
Your call right there is 100% the right thing to do. Like, they peeled to help him deal with the Haunter for some reason, and you just getting farm and evolving is definitely what you have to do there.
Yeah.
I don't know that the Absol trying to 1v1 the Scyther is the right play.
Yeah, agreed. I tried to get that. I didn't get that last hit. And I just have to hang out here. I literally cannot step forward onto these guys.
This is funny. I actually, I flipped open your stream and I remember seeing this exact moment. I remember seeing you spinning around in lane and thinking, this game must not be going very well for him.
But it was going we actually won almost all the farm in the lane.
Yeah, I mean, that's how laning goes, right? And that's kind of why I prefer to lane a lot of the times, is I'm pretty conservative with my gameplay, so I, above anything else, try never to throw a lane, right? If you win the lane, awesome. But when you take a big risk in lane and you say, I don't know, get KO'd at 849 as the B spawn as an Absol, it gives the enemy so much experience it snowballs into a ton of scores, which are, points on the board, but also more experience. Someone maybe less experienced than you may not have backed up like this. That would have been another KO. So all of a sudden it turns into a lane that you somehow manage to win over a my Mew into, they may break your goal super early here and get a free shot at the Reggie uncontested.
Exactly. So here we step forward just a little bit, and that's enough for the Scyther, who's still
Yeah.
here to KO me. By the way, I will just say, this is a misplay by the Scyther. The Scyther should have gone back to his jungle by now because he could be way larger than he is.
Yeah, he has 6 points. The Mime has 5 points, so
Yeah.
there's not a lot of value. But he's probably thinking, can farm some KOs and keep the Absol small. Maybe I'm giving him too much credit there. He's probably just, greeting for KOs, but
I guess, but like, here's the other thing: is like, think about like if you want to be as large as you can for the endgame fight. Look at his XP before and after he kills me, because I'm level 5. It's like not even
yeah,
close to the amount that a buff would have given him.
yeah,
So
yeah, totally fair.
it's just strictly the wrong play. But of course, in this moment, he gets slightly rewarded for it, which is fine.
Yeah,
And
so
they break
solo
our
queue
goal
goes.
exactly perfect at 740. This is a misplay. They should have kept the goal and just continually farmed the stuff around there because they could have gotten way
Yes.
bigger with me in mind.
There's no one on your team that could have walked into that lane and stolen all the farm from them. So it's free from
Yes.
their perspective. Yeah,
Yeah.
they would be. I mean, you have several Indeedis, so in the little Booniaries now, so you would be getting 2 levels off that cycle of farm potentially, depending on who gets it. Yeah,
Exactly. So here, I get to get a few Audinos for free, which I never would have been able to do. I'd have just been stuck at
right,
level 5, and now I'm level 6 and a quarter.
right. That's a full free level for you, where
Yeah,
otherwise you'd be scrambling around looking for
exactly.
something. There's no
No,
jungle spawns. There's nothing.
right. Now I'm literally ahead of XP from the Mew, which is like just insane, right? That shouldn't
Yeah.
happen. Haunter's back in this lane. Notice that he just went for score again. This time he got the Mew kill, which is nice, but again, like if you could just play with us a little bit, this could go
You
way
almost
differently.
almost wish that Absol hadn't shared the big B with you there, because you might have evolved off it. I mean, it ended up working because the Hunter is able to push them back off the goal, but
Yeah.
level locking you at 6.9 is pretty unfortunate.
Right. Luckily, there was nobody defending bottom point, so we were able to just go for this. This play by the Gengar is correct,
I
right?
agree.
We have no shot at contesting the top objective.
Yes. And, in other solo queue games, your teammates would be clicking on you and pinging the check it out ping.
Yes.
Like, what is this guy doing top or bottom lane when everyone knows Reggie Lucky's the best objective in the game?
Now, despite what I just said, here's a massive misplay moment for my team. That Lucky's about to crash into our tier 2, and nobody's going to catch.
Yeah, I mean, you're not able to level check because this is a review, so you're just working with the footage you have. But if your Snorlax has block, especially, you would need to be here. But even without it, like,
Yeah.
there's a lot that the Snorlax can do here.
This is just
Oof.
brutal, and
I
there's
mean,
just
kudos
so
to the enemy
little.
team. They know they have a level advantage. They know that they have at least one Unite, and your team has 0. So
Exactly.
this is a Reggie you can push very easily. Honestly, even if the Snorlax is there, you might still get overwhelmed. But if you get even 1 KO here as a team, it's so valuable for you all.
Totally
So
agree. Totally agree. And that's kind of what I'm looking for here. Like, there's no shot at all that I win this fight. But I was looking to see if I could get a couple picks just for the experience, and I didn't think that, this Scyther's about to kill me. It's not going to matter.
yeah, it's a very low risk play from you. I mean, there's some farm on the board, but like
Yeah.
now I don't know if your Clefable's running gravity here. I haven't really seen it yet, but if you have a gravity Clefable and a Snorlax and you're not on comms, but between the 3 of you, theoretically you can shut that Scyther down. And I mean, the Scyther's level 10 there, so that would have been
Exactly.
really valuable for everyone.
So right here, I didn't realize he only had 4 points, but all I was looking for was can I get a pick on the Scyther, because it puts me
Yeah.
way back in the game.
Yeah, it's a fair play. The only thing is initiating with Greninja's ult is sketchy sometimes for that exact reason, right? You get a response ult and then it gets shut down.
Yeah, true. And this is a
So
horrible misplay by me because not only did I not get the kill on Scyther, which would have put me back in the game, but I've just wasted my ult. Like, I don't have Greninja ult, and now I have to farm it back and hope that I can win the next engagement.
yeah, do you want to back it up Um, 10 seconds. I kind of want to just see your movement there. I mean, just quick snapshot. You can look at the macro.
Hmm.
Your Haunter's trying to score again. I think the Haunter and the Clefable end up mid, which, I mean, it's not a horrible play. Your team needs levels, so
Yeah.
venturing out to find some farm is
But notice that our jungle
necessary.
was still available. Like, he could have just taken our jungle.
Yeah, 100%. The Clefable venturing makes some sense. Um, does the Haunter get a kill here? Is that what happens?
Yeah.
Anyway, so from your perspective, you kite back to goal here. The mime loses vision. You're linked to him and you're chasing him.
No, I'm just taking the ball.
Yeah, so here you think he's gone and he doubles back on you. That's really
Exactly.
all that happened there. It's a smart play. He dipped in the bush, he lost vision, and he capitalized. So
Yep. This
yeah,
is
you could
awful.
have backed up. You know, if you had thought through that play and you suspected that I might do that, you could have farmed from the left back
Mhm.
further up your lane so you can't get jumped like that. That's
Or I
one of
could have
those
double
like
surfed. I could have surfed out of the
yeah
guard swap. This is awful.
yeah
By the way, in comms, I watched this back already. In comms, I'm literally saying if Scyther is in any of these bushes, he kills me. But I have to play for farm because both objectives are coming up. I don't have my ult, and there's just nothing on my side of the map. So I'm just taking
Speaking of which,
anything I can get. Just anything.
what's your Clefable doing?
I'm honestly completely unsure.
Grabbing a Boonieri maybe, and then maybe dying for it. It's
Yeah.
hard to see.
I was looking to see
Yeah,
if I could maybe
Scyther's
surf
huge.
smokescreen that, but unfortunately didn't get a chance to.
Gengar's farming. I don't hate that call.
Yeah.
Honestly, the Gengar might be giving up on the team at this point, just like doing their own thing. It kind of seemed like they were doing that from the start.
Yeah, I think the Clefable at this point has initiated the surrender vote. And
Yeah.
here, Snorlax and Absol are both right next to this Machamp who's dunking 40, by the way.
Yeah, I saw the Snorlax a second ago.
He gets the 40 in, and I think, okay, well, at least we can get a pick, and he's
I
almost full
wish we could have
health.
seen that. What is that Snorlax? What did they even do?
I have no idea. But
Maybe they
they're
whiffed the
heavy
heavy
slam
slam?
block. I mean,
They might have whiffed the heavy slam and got stuck on one side of the wall or something.
yeah, maybe.
Can you get an eject play here? No, no, okay, you got surf through.
Alright, I have my ulti, and I
Oh,
literally
yeah.
just ult the Scissor because I want the kill.
No, that's the right play, honestly, 100%. It's not great to not have it for this push, but
Yeah.
um,
Can we talk
I,
about how much BS this Aleki damage is? Look at how I die here.
I saw that actually. That was oof.
The hitbox literally faded from the screen. It's gone. Watch.
Wait a minute. What does it even hit you with? Does it hit you with the
It's
circle
that. I get
zone?
hit by the circle. It's just like fading, I guess, and I just mistimed it, but
Odd.
yeah. So Clefable has given up. Gengar got the bottom objective. Credit where credit's
Okay.
due. He made a play that makes sense given where they're
And I was gonna
at.
say you gotta get the Delphox there. He was like 3/4 health. That's an easy kill,
Yeah.
even if you die for it.
And I will also point out this is a misplay by the enemies. They should have walked this in, or at least they should have helped walk it in. Like they could have gotten farm along the way. They could have taken our jungle. Like there's so much value they could have
Yeah.
gotten, and they just didn't push it all.
They also have Delphox, which is one of the best siege characters in the game,
Yeah.
and it's 4 minutes, which Delphox has a fast charging Unite, but everyone else on the team could have used Unites as well. So against an enemy team, they don't probably know that your Clefable was AFK, but I mean that's the exact candidate for a potential siege. I don't hate the Delphox trying to use the Reggie as a distraction and get farm elsewhere, but you have such a level advantage. You can, and your team's got two squishies. Clefable's good heals, so maybe it would withstand on base. But
Yeah.
yeah, I don't know. I agree with you. I would have tried to push that in probably.
Now, while all this is happening, Gengar not only got the objective, but he got 40 points in bottom. Strict misplay by the opponents. I can't believe that he got 40 points in bottom. Where are they?
Yeah. I was wondering that myself. None of them were pushing it in. What were they just camping their tier one?
Yeah. And here, I get another pick on the Scyther, and now all of a
Jeez.
sudden I'm almost 13.
Yeah, and so that's a misplay on the Scyther's part, right? It's so easy to
Exactly.
get a level advantage as a jungler and get really overconfident and start picking fights all over the map. And all it takes is one person to swoop in at the end of a fight like that and clean up. And you just gifted them a level and a half.
Exactly. So I'm super happy with that positioning. And now I'm just going to farm for 14. because I think I can hit it, which is ridiculous. Given the way this game started, so many misplays by the opponents to be able to give me 14 here.
Yeah. Now this top Reggie is dangerous for your team.
Exactly.
Right? If you lose this, this is
game.
If it gets off the map really quick, you have time to shred it. If it doesn't, it's going to keep some of you out of the pit potentially.
Yes. So this is dangerous. The problem is Snorlax picked a fight on their home. On their tier.
How you play this.
So what would you do here, Real? Literally all my teammates are dead. What do I do?
Oh my goodness. I mean, you can't step up, right? You will 100% lose if you step up here and try and pick a fight. You could bush camp and ult the Lucky. That's a potential play. Even if you get it, you probably then die. They don't care about it because it's their tier 1. They go to pit. They don't have Greninja, which is your team's best secure, so they just rip in your face.
Yeah.
So there is no play, I think, on the Reggie or the enemy team. The only move is to back up and farm.
Okay, that's an interesting play. Here's my thought. I think all the things you just said are true. My idea is that I ignore the Aleki to the best of my ability, and I play for burst damage kills here to keep some of them out of the pit for ripping. Like, I trade my life potentially for 1 or 2 of them.
Yeah, I don't know that I would put that much faith in my team, but it's not... Wait, is that a Mew ult? That's confusing.
Yes. So
yeah,
I go
my
for
concern
the
was
Delphox here, and then I die immediately.
Yeah, I mean, that's not a super high-value target. If you'd gotten the Scyther, it would have been really good for your team. But my concern was when the Scyther was right next to you and we knew the rest of them were on the tier 1, they have vision on you, you did not have vision on them. So if you engage on that Scyther in the middle of the lane, chances are someone shows up from right behind him, and then all of a sudden you get no value and you're dead. So
Agreed. Okay, so here, my Snorlax, who has ult, is farming the B's bottom side. That I can only assume is him giving up. Absol is catching. That is a play of somebody who is still trying to win. Clefairy and Gengar are both helping him catch, which I think is an active throw, because if they just go into the pit and rip, the game's over.
Yeah.
So Clefable decides he's going to ignore the entire fight and just go for a back cap. Gengar makes a miraculous steal of Ray.
Oh gosh, one of those games, huh?
Yes.
That's gotta hurt as the enemy team. I mean, and we were here to talk about, what are the misplays in this game. When you're the enemy team and your team has 3 very high burst, well, you just burnt your ult, but you still have the Absol and the Gengar. The Reggie gives them vision, right? So they knew the Absol was not in the pit, but they did not have vision on Gengar, and that is a huge misplay. Because that exact reason right there, right? I mean, that's the kind of thing. You want to rip to bring them into the pit, pick off the person that's a threat, and then continue to rip. But they just kept ripping.
I totally agree. I think that the change that I would make to this is if I was the enemy team, I would have had 1 person siege with Aleki, and then I would have the rest of them rip. Because then you set up this checkmate scenario where if they do what we did and we all abandon it except 1 person, you kill the Absol, that walks into base, it doesn't matter if we get Ray. You're going to score. Or we have to contest you up there. Like, we have to provide resources there, you get the Rayquaza, and then it doesn't matter and you win. Because you're ahead on points. So this is a checkmate scenario, I think, if you play with 1 person with the Aleki and the rest of them go to fight Ray. You make us choose between 2 lose conditions.
I think that they were probably counting on the Reggie to be that 6th teammate, right? Mm-hmm. And provide that distraction. But if they had sent, say, like the Mew, someone that's highly mobile, does a lot of burst damage, can put a lot of pressure behind that Reggie, when that Gengar peels, the Mew can peel with it. And then the Mew is the one that knows, oh, this Gengar is going to try and steal, and it can deal with it, it can out-secure it, it can do whatever. But it gives your enemy, or his team, vision of that Gengar between when it left the Reggie and when it got to the Rayquaza pit in its ult, right?
Yeah.
But, I mean, I assume they're probably solo queue as well, so if there's no comms, it doesn't do you a ton of good to know that information, unless they're all watching their mini-map, right?
Yeah, agreed. Okay, so here's my other thought, is that it's awesome that we got this, but we still need to beat them in a team fight. Because if we don't beat them in a team fight, they're just going to go counter score. So
I mean, it's 4-4 players up right now. You're way behind on scores, so you have to take some of them off the board.
yeah,
But essentially, you have to take at least 2 of them to balance the scales here.
exactly.
4's okay though. 4's pretty good too.
4 is pretty good. 4 is pretty good. So we managed to get a 4 KO. Here, this is a misplay. I go for that last hit. I should actually let Snorlax get all of this because he still has his shield and he should score. So
Yeah. Well, you had 50, so it doesn't really make a difference, does it? The points would have just dropped.
that's true. That's true.
But yes, still, would have made sense.
Yeah. So I recognize around this time that, okay, Clefable and Snorlax still have their shields. I'm just going to base and defend.
I was just going to ask you, what are you doing here? What are you doing here with 50 points and no shield as a
Yeah.
flimsy little Greninja?
Exactly. So, and then I just farm my ults. We have bees here, so I figure I can just get this before they come over to the map. I also
It's
have vision
still
on
early
4 of
enough.
them. Yeah.
It's still early enough, too, that if you need to navigate across the map with your ult, you can do so.
True.
So
And now I'm just begging them to back up. I don't know why the Gengar's over there as well. That's, again, a misplay. Like, we could just defend and win.
I didn't see the enemy's score bottom if it was, an overcap or anything.
I can't recall right now either, honestly.
Yeah.
But
But you seem confident that you're in the lead at this point, or you're just assuming?
no, I'm confident we're in the lead.
Okay.
Because it was regular struggling, and I saw a score a little over 100 points, and then the Gengar scored 20 on their home after that. So between
Okay.
all of those scores, we're definitely over 100 points ahead. Now, this is an interesting little misplay right here. Mime actually walks off the pad when Delphox is trying to score 10, and that would have saved Delphox for 2 reasons. One is because his score would have gone through faster, so he could have gotten those 10 points in. And 2 is because Mime is lower health, my Greninja cannot hit Delphox while he's in my attack range.
Yes,
Watch
because
that
your
back.
setting is set to lowest
Yes.
and not closest, right? Mine doesn't necessarily know that, but it's a fair assumption. That's a pretty high level thing to assume. Like,
Yes.
oh, it's a Greninja, it's probably set to lowest because he wants executes.
Yeah, but most people are set to lowest, right?
Right. I mean, either way, you could do both, right? It's lower HP as a Mime, and it can just stand right in front of you, right? So there's just no way you're going to hit the Delphox unless you have Scroll Wheel, which, I'm one of 2 people in NA that plays with Scroll Wheel. I don't think I know anyone else who does.
Yeah, I agree. I didn't even know you played Scroll Wheel.
I do, yeah. I play so many range characters, like I used to play so much Eldegoss and I play Hoopa that it's really handy for that exact scenario where someone's trying to score. You can Phantom Force, push someone, your flames hit the other person, then you can Scroll Wheel and hit a third person. Like, you can keep a lot of people from scoring at the same time.
Yeah, makes sense, makes sense. So, at final tally, we won by 30 points exactly. And what are some of your wrap-up thoughts here? Any final thoughts about this game?
Oh my goodness. It is really disappointing that your team had such a decent composition. It looked like a solid team fighty pick comp kind of team, and then none of that happened, right? For 10 minutes. There was like no moments where your Snorlax was getting a huge engage and someone was following up and getting a huge pick. It was just chaos.
Yeah, totally
Which-
agreed.
Solo queue is like that. But I mean, I think generally you did a pretty good job of every decision you make, especially in solo queue, has to be about max minning the return for your time. And you found opportunities to farm, which, they gifted you early by breaking that tier at, I don't even remember what time that was, 7 something.
Yeah, like 750 almost.
Yeah. And then you got a couple high value picks, which going in on that Scyther, burning your ult or whatever for a pick is totally worth it when you're trying to catch up like that. When you're walking into the Rayquaza under-leveled, it's very hard to win. It's not impossible, but it's very hard to win. So, like, when you get really behind, as your team did early, like, everyone's mindset needs to be, what do I do between now and the 2-minute mark so that my team is on an even playing field?
Yeah.
Yeah.
No, I agree with all of those points. I think my final thoughts are That is actually the worst you could possibly play the jungle in the early game. I mean, just straight up awful. Every time you ganked, you didn't pay attention to us at all. You didn't pay, like, you ganked my lane and didn't
Yeah,
show up for any of the fights. So that's
yeah,
really brutal. So that misplay actually made the game go the way it did. Otherwise, I actually think we would have been able to at least go even, if not continue winning the lane. So
yeah.
please don't play for scores over, letting your teammates die. That's
Well,
just absolutely brutal as a jungler. So that's my first thought. And my second thought is just, guys, there's a comeback strategy in this game. This game is full of comeback mechanics. So please don't surrender vote or stop playing to win. Just play to win, and you can win games that look impossible. Because this game was, I'm pretty sure I even said at some point, I was like, this is a lost game, but I still played to win, and we won.